is gone today. It's overcast in Miami. There there are a lot of clouds, so I apologize. Actually, no, the lighting isn't terrible. The lighting isn't terrible. It isn't exactly what I wanted, but it's not terrible. Ma'am, she just started this, by the way. I just want to be very clear that I want to be very clear that the reason I don't know. I don't know why she does this every single time. Like every single time. Give me one moment, guys. I'll be right back. Ma'am, madam, hey, queen, come here, queen. I call her queen, so she's more susceptible to a. Yeah, no, this is not the time. I know that you're feeling attacked, but it's just not the time. So come along, little one. Go. Thank you. All right, guys. I'm back. Hello. All right, so welcome to another episode of Attunement with me, your host, Lauren. Today we're going to be, you know what? Let's get our breath together, shall we? That's going to be the first thing we do because I am coming with all sorts of flustered energy. Give me one moment. I'm not going to lie, I was a little late today. This 333 on the dot thing, yeah. It's nerve-wracking. It's like a countdown for me sometimes. But I just want to get comfortable so I'm not moving around too much for you guys, because today I have a very special guest coming in to talk with us about the inner child. Today we're going to be talking to and about our inner children. Whew. All right. Yes. So I'm just going to call her in. Let me go. Go. Incredible. I'm going to let them introduce themselves, but waiting on you, baby. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. Welcome to the chat. Can you introduce yourself for everyone?
Absolutely, Lauren. Thank you so much for having me. So my name is Dr. Nicole LaPera, for those of you who don't know me, and I go by on Instagram, the Holistic Psychologist.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Okay, wait. Yeah. So I had Dr. Nicole on because I love your work so much. I can't even express to you how much you've helped me heal. Like I sent like a personal message to you one time, and I've reposted a bunch of your stuff like on my stories, just because every time I read one of your things, like I seriously I resonate in a brand new way. I bring up, there's just so much healing comes up in me, and I really appreciate the work that you do. So I just wanted to have you introduce yourselves to my fans and just kind of give them a little insight on this, just kind of this conversation. I just wanted to talk with you a little bit about the inner child and healing that, because that's a lot of the work that I've kind of been focusing on the most lately. Because once you start to notice that once I start to kind of dig up all of those subconscious, pains and triggers and things like that, that the main person that's always, in question is that inner child. You know what I mean? That they're the culprit behind like a lot of the pain stories and trauma stories that I keep telling myself. So yeah, I just wanted to dive into that with you and just talk with you about that, and you want to share some insight or however you
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so glad, Lauren, to hear that my work is resonating with you. And quite honestly, I think that, I attribute, put it this way, the success of, me coming on Instagram a year and a half ago to that reality. I think I'm speaking universal truths to a lot of us. They weren't what I am now sharing. Let me put it this way, and I'll give you a little background on myself for those of you who don't yet know me or my work. These weren't always my truths or my reality. So who I am on a personal level is I'm a human like a lot of us out there who have known anxiety, right? Like big time. Like anxiety was, I often describe it as my resting state. I was born into a very anxious family with very anxious parents. So for me, it was understandable that I too would have anxiety.
Yeah,
So that's
anxiety
on
is like a default setting.
exactly right. And everyone around me was, you know, struggling in the same ways. So just thought that this was something that I would be saddled with for my life. And it would be the conversations that I would be having with myself and my anxiety around managing symptoms. So that's me on a personal level. Me on a professional level, I'm one of those people who I've always been so fascinated by people, what makes them do what they do, and the mind in
Dude, me
particular.
too, dude.
You know what
When
I
I go back to school officially, like anthropology is gonna be like one of my main. I love,
Yeah,
humans are so ridiculous and fascinating to me.
so
Like
fascinating. I
so.
know. I know. It's been a running joke in my family for some time that I was going to be a lifetime student because I was always kind of seeking more information and about, you know, people in general. And there are endless things to learn and to understand and to not understand, I think, with the
Yeah,
complicated creatures that us humans are.
yeah.
So that was
Everyone
all.
and everyone is so unique. Like
Yes.
we're all like the same by like default, like in terms of the species that we are, but we're all so unique and
So.
individual, even within all of the different categories that we've put ourselves into, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And you'll hear me a lot of times while I talk about practical tools to heal or to self-heal, you'll never hear me giving a like kind of prescription plan that's universal where this is the step one for everyone and this is the step. I don't believe that that exists because to speak to your very beautifully articulated point, we are so unique. There isn't a one size fits all model. And I think the field of the mental wellness field, the traditional mental wellness field, I'm hoping to see it change in my lifetime. But I think that anything that has this idea that there's one manualized one approach, I just call that into question because I couldn't agree more. We're all different. But I came through that field. I came through that field in training. I had a private practice. It was in Philadelphia where I used to live. And I was trudging along, you know, kind of life adulting, as you will,
Girl,
until, you know what
I'm
I mean?
43 and I feel you.
There's a lot about, and part of my story too, I'm telling you, Lauren, I say that because as I was adulting away, I
Yeah.
found myself exhausted with no inspiration. My anxiety was there. My relationships weren't great, if I'm perfectly honest, right? But yet I'm this clinician who knows the tools, who knows how to, you know, kind of manage these things. And quite honestly, I wasn't
The
managing.
resonance. The
I
resonance.
wasn't managing, you know, if I'm honest, I just wasn't. So after some years of struggling personally and being really honest with myself, as much as I hated it, and also watching these same struggles in my clients who I'm like, you know, supposed to be supporting in their healing, I'm noticing that we're all just stuck. No one's getting better. No
Yeah.
one's
Like
really
we're like
able.
the molasses. It's like
Yeah.
the time and space continuum. Like we already know we're slowed down and put into matter and like all of that stuff, but it's like it's really slow out here. And we're so slow to want to change and so slow to think that we're worthy of the change.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it takes so much to convince
Yeah.
ourselves that like we're worth that
Yeah.
effort, that
Yeah.
extra that we give to everything else and everyone else and to the idea of success, but like not to ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And
something
there's,
that I'm really
so
grappling with a lot.
yeah, you'll hear me talk pretty universally about why change generally is hard, but you're already beautifully illustrating a belief that a lot of our inner children have that we're not worthy. So it got, obviously it's more complicated. You'll hear me talk about change as just being difficult. And there's a whole reason why in our human minds that it is difficult. That aside, when we talk about inner child work, a lot of our inner children don't feel worthy because of our past experiences. And so to speak to that point, if I were to maybe logically, I want this better life, if you will, for myself, if I have a deep belief that my inner child isn't worthy of that better life, now it gets more complicated. Now that already hard thing to do, which is change, becomes even harder. So this is why. So after what had happened in my personal life at the same time as I was having my practice, observing all of this, feeling really frustrated all around, I started to become very unwell, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all of the above. I call it my dark night of the soul that I know very much resonates with a lot of us. And as a result of hitting that bottom, as a lot of us do, I dove online, first and foremost, trying to figure out what the hell was wrong with me. Because at this point, I was
And
convinced
then
that,
you come across WebMD and you're like, oh,
oh my,
oh,
and then, then
nice.
then I'm
And I have every
convinced.
single mental illness there
Yes.
is.
Yeah. So I did all that just like anyone else probably listening would do. Like I'm having symptoms. I start to have physical symptoms. I start to faint. I mean, so things that were already at a baseline, not great, started to get even worse. After I scared the shit out of myself on WebMD, I actually, thankfully, happened into this whole world of research that I was never exposed to, that really spoke about, which I now believe to be true, the human as not just a separate entity. We're not just a mind that goes to a mind doctor and then a body that goes to a body doctor. And
Yeah.
those of us who believe in the spirit or the soul, right? That is dealt with maybe in
Oneness,
religion, right? We are all one thing.
interconnectivity,
Yes.
symbiosis. We need each other
Yes.
the way we need every single part of ourselves.
Yes.
I'm learning that in I'm doing like an herbal artist healing class,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the main things. Like the basis of the curriculum is literally like everything is connected. We are all energy, and everything is connected.
Yes.
You can't separate like the whole system of specialists that you have to go through in America to like get somewhere that you can actually get help for what you may or may not even have at that point. You know what I mean? Like, it's just mind-boggling to me because everything affects everything. So
Yes.
any doctor or anyone who's looking at a person and like getting into the reasons why they're unwell, like there should be just a comprehensive understanding from that person that everything is connected. Like your mind state, your spirit state, and your body state,
Yes.
those three things need to be vibrating properly in order for you to be able to express and be a fucking functioning human. Like,
Could not agree more. And so as I began to learn that and heal myself, because I started to look at my whole self and I started to make changes in how I was living my life so that my physical body could be more balanced. I started to really pay attention to how lost in thought I became all day, which for a lot of us is all day long. All day long, we're not present. We're not in our bodies, right? We're not making our choices. We're living in autopilot. And I came to realize what was calling a lot of my choices is that inner child, is that wounded space inside of me that I believe we all have. So
I'm that way a lot when I'm in my, writing space and my career, the way that I handle my life, you know what I mean? Like I
mm-hmm.
give my all every time. So I think that in the healing process, it's hard for me because I'm used to giving my all and then receiving you know, what giving your all gets you in this universe. You know, when you really give the universe your all, the universe returns that.
Yeah.
But for some reason, when it comes to my healing, it's like I feel like I'm giving a lot, but then I'm just like in my head about, oh, but did you really? Like, here's this, and this that you didn't do, right? So then, since I'm all or nothing, I just give up.
Yep.
You know, sometimes, and I'm just like, okay, it's not happening. I'm not changing. This
Yeah.
just must be who I am. You know what I mean? Like, whatever. Like, I'm cognitively aware of the things that are wrong. You know, but then
Yeah.
there's just this like trabito, like this little just like stuck, like you were saying, the stuck feeling. We were talking about that molasses. It's like, where does that push come from? And I feel deeply that it is doing little things every day that can help us get our inner child to a point where like they trust us.
Yes.
You know, to make them happy.
Yeah. Well,
fail them.
Thank you for sharing all of that with me and with all of us, Lauren, because in that story, you really encapsulated a lot of truths, which is a lot of things happen to many of us in childhood outside of traditionally what we think of in terms of big G trauma, right? So if you're listening and you don't
you know, for who we truly are. And this whole entire society and this whole entire like paradigm that we live in right now is just so based on the opposite of that. It's so based on making you insecure and making you feel so distanced from yourself, so other from everyone around you. Just making strangers very other and making everything just very scary. You know what I mean? When the reality is that we're not very scary. Like, we have very specific needs that, like, if they're met, like, we're pretty chilling people. You know what I mean? Like, across the board, like, if we truly give people environments where they feel seen off bat. Of course, granted, there's sociopaths that exist, but like, you know, they're like a separate thing. But they're also trauma based, I feel, for the most part, you know, whether they know it or not, or whether anyone admits it or not, you know, it's just, those are all different realities that are existing at the same time, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And I go as far to say that I find very few adults who have had modeling of that kind of separate but yet interdependent is the word I always use, relationship in childhood. So we become very conditioned. The relationship experience we had in our earliest relationships becomes the model unless we become conscious. So to speak to your question, what do? A lot of us have to do some changing. We have to show up differently in our worlds. We have to not rely on those protective mechanisms anymore and do something new. So because change is so hard, I actually do not suggest you go into, I'm going to change my life from top to bottom tomorrow. I actually, the concept you'll hear me talk about
that's my shit. Is right, like, I'm going to be better all all
all
at
at
once.
once,
Let's
right? And
go.
that's overwhelming. So the reason
It's
why
not
we can't
realistic.
maintain, it's understandable, right, Lauren? Because a lot of
But
times
I
when we,
shit on myself about it. That's the main
because we
thing.
want to change something, and the fastest way to change something, if I'm uncomfortable, is to change everything. I just want to feel better soon. But unfortunately, a lot of us set ourselves up to shame ourselves on the back end when we can't maintain those changes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. Like, what
And
is
then
that? Like,
become,
why?
so the quick why, so I referenced a reason in our minds why we have this thing, I call it the autopilot. It's the computer program. We like that analogy, right? We have these
Because it's
programs
too real. We're
that are,
definitely in the little computer
this
program.
is true. This is true. Because what happens is when we come to this planet, however you think we get here, I'm going to really be silly and simplify things. We have a lot of learning to do. How to be in a physical body, how to move it, how to navigate these things called emotions and people and relationships, right? We come and we're in a, literally, our brain from birth until age 7 is in a very sponge-like state. It's why babies' eyes are so big. They're taking in the
Taking in
world,
everything, yeah.
right? And we
I
actually
miss
are,
those days.
it's so fascinating, right? We're primed to learn. So what we do is we kind of develop all of these programs for how to be human. We're so grateful for that, because if we had to wake up every day as an adult and remind ourselves how to drive a car, or how, it's that example, right? I'm driving my car, I'm not paying attention. Oh, but thankfully I'm home alive. Who drove the car home? I did, but I wasn't really having to pay attention to the act of driving. That's that autopilot in action. So like I say, we need that. We cannot consciously think of everything we have to do logically to human every day. However, the issue becomes those programs, right? They were laid down at a time where maybe we weren't having the most healthy models, and maybe the people that we were seeing around us and seeing what they do wouldn't be the things that would work for us. So why change is hard. You and I could have a conversation here today, maybe listeners. I could logically, and this is what was happening with my patients in my practice. We would have session on Tuesday. We would come up very logically, right? We're now using a different part of our brain. So the subconscious is where our autopilot is stored. When you and I are having a conversation, we're typically in the more
knowing or discovering very early on that I was different, that I was unique, that I wasn't, that this society and this world that we live in was not cool. Like, it's not cool that like life is unfair. It's not cool that just some people get hurt and others don't. Like, it's not, it's just fucked up. You know what I mean? And I've always felt that in me, you know? And so when I think of the best way to combat that, like what's the best way that we can really like break out of this mental slavery we're all in, you know? And it's to love ourselves, and it's to heal ourselves, and it's to go on that journey. And so like as an artist, I feel like going through that journey publicly is like part of the weird sacrifice that you don't realize is a sacrifice, and that also really isn't, because it's a beautiful thing also to be able to share. Sometimes it's really painful and personal, and it gets picked apart like it's nothing, you know, like it's worthless, or like it's irrelevant, or like it's not charting. You know what I mean? So it doesn't mean anything. Your pain, your feelings, your expression means nothing if it doesn't have some sort of
necessarily take ownership over having caused it or having been able to even fix it, right? So that's part
oh, the
that's
nugget
part of
that
it.
just came out of your mouth.
And if I'm even really honest, I am challenged on a daily. My inner child, because we're talking about inner child, is challenged every time I'm on a screen like this. Every time I see that number of people watching me, anytime I'm giving a speech and there's actually humans in the crowd, because as much as my inner child wants to be seen, it's the most unfamiliar, uncomfortable thing in the world for me. So being visible is such an exercise in my own healing.
Dude,
And
that is
I'm the first one to share it, you know? It's not
Dude,
comfortable, but here I am.
I feel you 100%. That's how I feel also when I'm like gonna perform, you know what I mean? Or when I'm gonna do an interview. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
like of course the inner child in me who like loves to create and loves to express myself. Of course I want people to see that art and be like, yeah, this is cool, I like this, and have it, you know what I mean, and share it with me. But then there's also that other part of me that's like, fuck this, dude. Like there's so many people. Like why? Like no.
I'll add a third part, and then there's a part of me that if someone does think what I'm saying is cool or is resonating, I'm like, oh, they don't really mean it. They can't, you know. So it's like, what is it? You know, it's complicated. Literally. And that's why I shared. So I have a very similar experience for you. Like as we're healing who are in small corners of the world that I might not even have heard of, or I'm not even sure what services are available to them, to know that they at least have access, right, to a greater community and to these tools, regardless of the external circumstances that I and probably they can't change. If I can do a little part and know that other healers are, that's everything to me.
Amen. Amen. What a beautiful conversation.
I love it.
Thank you so much for coming through, babe.
It's, of course. Thank you for having me. Thank you all for listening.
Wait, where do you live in the world?
Now I live in LA, in Venice.
Oh, damn, I
just
moved to Miami.
Is that where you are? I was wondering where. Yeah. East Coast, I assumed. Okay.
Yeah, but I come over there. Well, no, but when
we're back open, if you ever come through, I'd love to see you in person.
Able to come back to LA, I will hit you up and we will go get dinner or something.
I love that. Thank you again, Lauren. Have a good one.
Of course. Thank you. Bye. Beautiful. Yes. Okay. I love her. I hope you guys enjoyed that conversation, because I enjoyed that conversation. That was very healing for me. I'm just doing stuff in front of you guys so that maybe you can capture some of the healing energy as well. That's kind of all that matters to me. Wow. Processing. That was a beautiful conversation. How are you guys feeling? I know some of y'all don't give a fuck about healing and just want me to sing for you, but I'm not just gonna do that. Nah, for real. But I'm gonna do some singing on next Sunday's live. For those of you who are really dying for that. I'm gonna do some singing next Sunday, and I have another special guest who hopefully pulls through. I think she will. I have a deep feeling that she will. Yeah, it's gonna be dope. And we're gonna focus on sound healing and how sound is an effective healer for me and for this person that's gonna be on as my guest. Maybe I can try to figure out getting one more guest to also do the same thing, to have the conversation, because I have a lot of beautiful friends actually that this could be a great conversation with. So this is kind of fun. It's Pat McGrath. I fucking love Pat McGrath. Iconic. All right. Let's see. maybe I can go on live this morning. Request me. Yeah, I'm gonna do that for a little bit. Which I don't even know. I'm so haphazard. But it's okay because it's alive, you know what I mean? So it's supposed to be like free flowing. Reach out to you. Request you. All right. Request me if you'd like to join me in conversation, Queen.
Oh my god! I can't believe this is happening.
Hi.
Hi, I'm Tinkerbell, and
Your name's Tinkerbell?
yeah, it's actually. I'm just gonna get some.
It took a lot to get to where you are right now. So I'm so grateful that you did that work, bitch. You did that work.
And
Yes.
also,
And the closer we all get to healing, man, this
exactly.
world that we see around us that we're all so mad about, that we're all like, why the heck is this happening? Like, how is this dude literally a president? Like, how does this make sense? Like, and we
And
all kind of get into those spaces where we don't know what it is, but we know what it is, and we're on our way towards fixing it by fixing ourselves, and not fixing, like just like healing, just holding compassionate space for ourselves and holding this space for us to grow, you know, instead of just making ourselves feel like we're the older version or this fake version that everybody else projects onto us, you know.
it's like there's so many times when well, for me, I feel like I can get so out of the line of what my higher self wants to do, and I just feel like these live streams are just. It's like kind of a message from the universe to tell me you need to focus on yourself and your spirituality and just get back on track with all of that. And I love these live streams because it's really helping me. And I really appreciate that. And also when
honestly, Tink, if you're the only person that helps, I'm cool with that. Like, literally. You're so beautiful. You have such a beautiful soul. I can like feel it.
On like with these live streams, when I'm looking at you, I can feel the energy, and it's like, wow, you are intense. Your energy is so light and strong. You're a true light worker.
Oh my god, this is so beautiful. I'm so glad that I happened to pick you. This is what I'm saying. Like, this is why I start the live at 333. It's divine. This moment is divine.
Yeah, I was looking at the numbers, like there is meaning behind why you picked those numbers.
You already know, Teddy. You already know. So where do you live? Are you in England?
Yeah, I'm in England,
What
but I've
part?
lived Brighton.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I've lived different places: Philippines, Scotland, Wales. Yeah,
Amazing. Where were you
just
born?
Somerset, England, which is a
Yeah, yeah. So is
Mhm.
that north?
No, it's south.
Oh, south.
South. Yeah, I only got to live there for 4 weeks, and then I moved up to Scotland, and then went to the Philippines, and then to England, and then to Wales, and then the Philippines, and then England, and then I moved out.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot. I can imagine that's a lot. But that's also kind of beautiful too, to get to experience so many different like places in
It's
your youth.
I felt so ashamed growing up because I was discriminated against because of my culture, my skin, blah blah blah. And it's just nice growing up in the Philippines because I got to experience my mom's culture, and then I learned being ashamed of my culture. I learned to embrace it and be proud of my mom's heritage. It's cool.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. I love that. What a beautiful story. I hope that we meet one day. I would be really happy about that.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, when I come over to England, like please come to the meet and greet or like come outside. I will see your face and we will have a hug.
One thing that's helping me right now is you mentioned it last week as a book, The Five Love Languages. So I
Uh-huh.
think I just think that is absolutely incredible. It just makes so
Are you
much
reading
sense.
it?
I've read it. I've finished reading it, and I'm like writing posts about all of this. I've read it for a while, but
You're breaking up a little bit, babe. Do you think you can get somewhere
oh,
where there's a bit better Wi-Fi?
is it better now?
Yeah.
Cool. So I just like I don't really have much of a following and stuff, but I just love writing because I think communication is so, so important, and you have to be so open with people and so honest with people. And it's
Yeah.
just, I do my part because I love writing, I love words, I like doing poetry and stuff. I like to share what I'm thinking. I'm very, I guess, being really suppressed growing up, struggling with social anxiety and selective mutism. Now that I'm in a place where I've worked through those issues, and obviously I'm still working, but I'm not in as bad of a place as I was. I just find it incredible to be able to write, to share stuff with the world because it's like your outlet, and you can heal
Yep.
and you can share stories. And I've written posts about my own struggles in hopes it will help other people. Um,
That's
so I
beautiful,
just,
babe. And that's what it is. That's what art is about. That is what expression is about. It's so that we can all relate to one another. And you said you don't have that big of a following, but I know I can feel that you will just because you are so honest through your expression. And I'm so glad that you have that medium that you feel comfortable with of expressing yourself of writing. What's your Instagram? Y'all should go follow her. What's your Instagram?
it's Tinkerbell_Faye, Faye.
Cool. Amazing. Type it in the comments too so they can just see it if they didn't catch that. But dope. I wish you so much love.
Thank you so
Um, yeah,
much.
I wish you luck with your writing. I hope it spreads across the world and touches people. I know it probably will. And I love you.
I
You're
love you so
so
much.
cute.
And beautiful and amazing, and I'm literally the lyrics for 50 Feet,
You love
especially.
them?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely adore them and resonate so much, and especially if you're mind, body, soul ain't allied, don't be messing with mine.
I don't need you messing with mine.
Preach!
Please.
Can I
No,
scream this
thank
from the
you. 50 feet. 50 feet. All right, I love you, babe. Nice
I
meeting
love you
you.
so much. You're amazing, and yeah, keep
Mwah.
shining.
Bye, lovely. Damn. Okay, shout out to Tink because Tinkerbell was fantastic. Y'all better go follow her because I'm positive that she has incredible writing. Like I can just feel it. Like I need to go follow. I need to go follow her. Shit. But like Tink, send your Insta. again because I did not save it. No, Cleo. Just trying to help out. Wait, send your Instagram. Send it in the comments, please. Anyways, do y'all hear this puppy? Do y'all hear this puppy? If I let her out, I have a feeling she's gonna bark, but maybe she won't because she's been like, "Hey, mommy. Hey, mommy. Hey, mommy. Yeah, say hi to the people. Say hi to the people." Oh my god. Oh my god. Say hi. Why are you obsessed with me? Oh, okay. 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 Yeah, she's not having it. She doesn't want to say hi. Sorry. Yeah, Cleo's like a regular on the show. Cleo, I should start paying her or some shit. No, bitch, I don't even get paid. I don't even get paid. She'll get a treat every once in a while. Guys, she knows how to do paw now. When I tell her sit and do paw, she won't do it right now because I don't have treats. My parents have treats at their house. But dude, she can give paw now. She like I'm like paw, and she'll be like, that's a proud mom moment. It's kind of like taking first steps. You know what I mean? In my opinion. Anyways, damn, what a beautiful live this has been. I hope that you guys felt the healing that has transpired. I think it's so gorgeous, dude. Last night I was watching BB Borelli's live stream that she just did of her society sessions. I think it's what it's called. I'm pretty sure it's what it's called. And she had Sims. She had Van Ness, I think is what their name is. They're a duo, women musicians, amazing. And SZA was on it, the three of them. And it was just a beautiful conversation between real human beings. I don't know about y'all, but I appreciate that. I really appreciate real humans. I appreciate real humans. I appreciate people who are not fronting like and telling the truth about their experiences and their realities and their vulnerabilities. I think that that's so important. Like, I don't know. I don't know how you feel. That's how I feel. All right, next Alive, I'm gonna sing a song. So I'll sing a few songs. I low-key am down to sing a few songs. I'm gonna sing for y'all. So if you guys could send me requests on the Twitter, I might post this onto my main page because this shit is fire. Like, these conversations are beautiful, and I think more people need to hear them. It's just my opinion. I have nothing else to talk to y'all about, so I'm gonna go. I love you super much. Please keep listening to 50 Feet. Show it to your family. Show it to your friends. Show it to your business partners. Show it to your coworkers. Put it in your background while you're on Zoom. Like, just have it casually playing around. If you're going to a supermarket, put it in a speaker and just walk around the supermarket. 6 feet, 50 feet. What else? Give me suggestions. Work out. Use it to smoke to. Use it to drink some wine to. Use it to brighten your morning because it's a vibe in the morning just to get you set right. You know what I mean? What else can we do? There's so many options. Show it to your friends. Put it in a playlist. Send it to that lover of yours. But maybe not because you don't want 50 feet from the lover. So maybe put lento in that one. If it's for a lover. Oh, you know what? Put them onto something. Put her onto something. Put them onto something. Give them 50 feet. All right. That's my quota of self-promo for the day. I just want y'all to know that I don't want to have to tell you to listen to the song. but I appreciate you listening to the song. And I actually really appreciate you sharing the song. And I believe in my own music, so I'm going to share it with you that I appreciate you sharing. All right, now I'm actually done. Now I'm for sure done. Now this is exceeded limit. I love you. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Happy fucking Sunday.